Hello and welcome to my July favorites metaphysical edition. So this is the one about the cards, the books, the witchy stuff, all that beautiful stuff, all that fun stuff. All right. So first of all, I'm going to talk about what I used for public readings, online readings, email readings this month. Because I think I don't know if I ever mentioned it, but I did add some new stuff to my those readings, yeah, public readings. So I did quite a number of readings this month, which, incidentally, I will do a separate video about. But I thought I'd mention it here. Starting August 1st, which is today, till October 31st, I will be donating 25% of the proceeds from the readings that I do. That you can go to my website, which I'll link below, to a project I'm very excited about. And I will include the video that announces the project in my description box below, and a link to my services on my website. So from August 1st till October 31st, 25% of the proceeds that I make from public readings will be donated to a project I'm very excited about. So yeah, more details to follow in a proper video where I actually make some notes so I don't leave anything out. But I thought the little teaser would be fun because I'm very excited about it. And yeah. And since we're on the subject of readings, I'd like to thank everyone who requested a reading this past month. I especially want to thank you all for your incredible patience. I don't read full time for the public. I work as a healthcare professional, and I love reading for the public. And so I try to balance that with my professional life. And sometimes my professional life is hard, and sometimes it's hard, it's exhausting. Sometimes I think I'm scheduled so many days, and I end up, being scheduled more. Sometimes I think I'm going to be off on a day that I book someone's reading, that they can expect it in their inbox if it's an email reading, or I book a phone call with someone or a Skype call, and then I have to reschedule. And you've all been just freaking amazing. Thank you so much for being patient with me and just making me feel, even though I still feel bad that I'm making you wait, not as bad as I would feel as if you were mean to me. You know what I'm saying? All right. So thank you so much to everyone. All right. So onto the cards. Still, number one favorite for reading for the public has been my Rider-Waite Smith, my Pamela Coleman Smith Centennial. This, I don't know, I've lost track of how many readings this deck of cards has done. Still my favorite, and yeah, and it was a favorite this month as well. I did use Morgan Greer, my old Morgan Greer. I only have one, my only Morgan Greer. The Morgan Greer has come out of retirement, and I'm using Morgan Greer again for readings when I'm called to do so. The Oracle decks that often make an appearance, and it depends on the type of reading, right? So if it's it's a spiritual consultation that then often, depending on what the topic of the spiritual consultation, then of course my Voices of Saints, published by Los Scarabeo, which I think is out of print, or just probably not. I think it's out of print. It's not even on their website anymore, which is a shame. And is one of the decks that I use for that kind of reading when appropriate. I also use Doreen Virtue's I don't even know what that deck is called because I don't know where the box is, but it's the one with Mary Queen of Angels on the box and on the backs of the cards. So that deck too makes an appearance for spiritual counseling kind of readings. And I think, the Psychic Tarot for the Heart Oracle also is part of my public, readings for the public arsenal. But a new one that has joined the family that is incredible is this guy. This is the Stretch Tarot by Joseph Stretch. And this deck is incredible. It is very, I make no bones about the fact that I am a fortune teller. All right, predictive readings, whatever it is the language of today is. I am an old-fashioned card reader. I read cards for people for whatever it is that they want me to read for. And these are incredible. So, yeah. And it was really, and really, I don't know. Just, they're really, the images are just, they're great. Like if you want to, dive into some investigating your past lives kind of situations, or how your past lives are. I really end up doing a lot of how past life issues have carried forward into this life. Sometimes it just comes up organically. I love these images. This is a great deck. I ordered it off Joseph Stretch's website. I live in Canada. I literally received it in 2 weeks, but this is before the pandemic, huh? So right now I'm waiting for an oracle deck I ordered from the UK that I was hoping would arrive this week, but it didn't. But as soon as it does, I'll be pretty happy when it's safe with me. So the Stretch Tarot, fantastic. Look at these backs. Oh my god, I just love it. I edged mine in black, of course, and I love this deck. I think there's a PDF guidebook on the website when you buy this deck. I don't need it. It's incredible. Absolutely, it's inspired. Very great reader, and it has joined the arsenal of decks I use to read for the public because it's that good. And for me, what makes a tarot deck or an oracle deck valuable for readings for the public is they have the imagery, the imagery, or if there's keywords, or it has to speak the language of the spirits that come through, because probably this is a subject for another video. Instead, I only started to study tarot 3 years ago. My whole history, my whole life of reading cards has always been the cards are there, but it's to enhance the message I receive through clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, spirits. So yeah, so I just start. So for me, the whole studying tarot and symbolism, it's really slow going. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I had started the series Experiential Meaning of the Cards, because they're different. They're the same, but they're different. So there's that. I'm still loving. This has been now going on 2-3 years. I don't even know when I got this deck. I want to say at least 2 years ago. Is the Vintage Wisdom Oracle by Victoria Mosley. This brilliant oracle deck when it comes to reading for the public. It's a very strong feminine energy, and it's just absolutely incredible for when I need to bring in that feminine energy, or the feminine energy, that yin energy, lunar energy, that kind of stuff. And when I don't reach for that oracle deck, I have to say, it surprised me too. Even though I knew I fell in love with it when I first saw it on Earth Fairy's channel, but I had no idea that this would become the oracle deck I reach for when I read for the public. It's I don't even know what to say. The keywords, the photographs. The photographs are the Atlantic Ocean, the Northeast. You know, the Atlantic Northeast, where I'm from originally, and they're incredible. They work so well. They're so on point for whether it is to round off a reading, or whether it is to enhance a reading, whether it is to answer questions following a reading. Just on point. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The cardstock is like this really great, like playing cardstock that you can riffle, shuffle, and doesn't care. It still looks like it did when I first got it. The imagery, I just adore the imagery because, again, I miss my ocean. Alright, so that's the Ocean Oracle. I purchased this off Etsy. The creator's store is Brine, as in, like, you know, ocean, Brine and Briar. They also had a Forest Oracle. I've been watching their store really closely because this is, I think I purchased the last one, so I feel really lucky. But they had already sold out of the Forest Oracle, which I think I want as well. This is absolutely, this is my one of my favorites for reading for the public and for myself. But the fact that I could just reach for this for when I read for someone else is a gift. I adore it. I adore it. I adore it. All right, so I'm going to talk about the decks that I used for daily draws for the month of July. So first of all, I need to come clean and say daily draws didn't happen for me this month. There was probably a weekly draw. Maybe I pulled 4 cards. Yeah, sorry, I'm shedding and I can feel it on my skin and like it wasn't a daily draw kind of month. Oh my god, sorry, still shedding. What was I saying? It wasn't a daily draw kind of month is what I was saying. My heart wasn't into it. My heart wasn't in it. The oracle decks I chose required that I, refer to the guidebook, which didn't have time really this month or to dedicate to that. So, but do I love them? Oh gosh, yeah. I'll put them away and I'll use them again some other time. So for daily draws, it was my Druid craft with all the titles cut off. And for me, this is a great deck for spirit communication specifically. It's a very earthy deck. The voice that comes through is my mom, my late mom. My mom was a Virgo, which I only connected earthy deck, and my mom being a Virgo, well, Leo Virgo cusp. This gives me great, like, when I need to connect with my mom's spirit, or any kind of maternal guidance. This is the deck that I use. So I had this out for see, mine's edged. I had this out for daily draws this month, and again, just didn't happen. But it was mostly like weekly. I'd pick a card weekly and I would sit there and I'd ponder that energy, and honestly, that energy just turned out to be like, guidance on how to handle the tasks at hand this month. So beautiful, love it. And these were the 2 oracle decks that I intended to do daily draws with, but these, because there's no keywords on them, these are also by art by Will Worthington. That was the Druid craft. These are the Druid oracles. This is the Druid plant oracle and the Druid animal oracle. these require the guidebook. There's no keywords. So they weren't accessible. They weren't the right decks for me to be using for daily draws. This any month really, because for daily draw I need a quick hit with a keyword. But man, are they beautiful! Oh my gosh! So I know probably everyone has these decks, but I just love them, and I just want to show you a couple from each deck. And I trimmed the borders off mine. My Plant Spirit Oracle is brand new from like I think it was Amazon that I purchased it on this year. But this I got at a secondhand bookstore last year, and this is a first edition. And this one, I trimmed the borders on this one because they were really like, you know, used, right? So I trimmed the borders off these because I love how these look, because although they have pretty borders, they're noisy. So I like this. It really allows the image on the card to speak. So these were the decks that were on my dresser for daily draws that I really didn't do daily draws with. But I do love them, and we'll return to them at some point. Now, you're probably, if you've been watching me for a little while, you're gonna start to see that I really use the same decks. I rotate through the same decks. I don't have a massive collection. I don't hang on to anything I don't resonate with. I think I have, excuse me, I personally think I have quite a substantial collection for someone who's not a collector. But I do notice that whenever I do one of these videos, I'm pretty much, I feel like I'm showing you the same stuff all the time. But I'm using the same, you know, I use a lot of the same decks for personal readings, for readings for the public. But I discover something new about them all the time, and I will show you some new stuff too, right? But not at the rate of someone who's acquiring a collection. So I'm glad those people are out there making videos, because I find those entertaining. All right, so what other? Oh, I'm still working with the Goddess Oracle deck and book set. This is by Amy Sophia Marashinsky, illustrated by Rana Yanto. This is still my favorite Goddess deck. I have another one which I really love, which I'll be using in the fall again. Oh, I don't remember what it's called. By Wendy Andrew. I think it's Goddess Wisdom. It's adorable. Anyway, Goddess Dreams. Goddess Dreams by Wendy Andrew. But I'm still working with this one because I pulled Ishel in January. February it was Lilith. March was Ishel. April I ended up pulling Ishel. So I just left her out because clearly this is an energy I'm needing in my life. Hence why I'm trying to create things like, you know, crafting. I find that I spend a lot of time up here, and I really need to get back in my kitchen. I have herbs I need to harvest, which I probably missed the window already, but you know, to make rue, like I have rue I need to harvest to make my rue oil. I have lavender I need to harvest to make my lavender oil, and I gotta tell you people, I'm just not feeling it because I gotta harvest it, I gotta dry it first. It's not even a huge process. I'm just not there, right? So I'm leaving this out because I need this energy in my life. Also with the cooking, I love cooking. Like, you know, in the person inside me, I love cooking. Cooking, you know, my love of cooking defines me. Yet, just haven't been feeling it this year, people. I guess there's a lot of us not feeling a lot of things this year, other than frustration and, you know, frustration, despair, and everything in between, right? Confusion. Anyway, so there's that. So I'm going to continue. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the guidebook. I'm going to reread what it says about Ishel. I'll probably, there's also, for each goddess, there's ritual. There's poetry, there's ritual. This is a classic. If you don't have this Oracle deck, and looking for a goddess oracle deck, I can't recommend this one enough. My other favorite one is these small cards by Susan Saden Boulay, and $15, $10, whatever they cost. They're just incredible. I don't want to put down Hay House decks and stuff like that, but they're not. No, no. I've had. This is my second Goddess Oracle set. I think I gave my first one to my daughter, and then I just repurchased it for myself. I'll always have this. I think I want to get myself one. I trimmed this one. I'm sorry, my hair is like bugging me. It's really hot here. I washed my hair today, and not that you need to know this, but it's really hot here, and I really would want it off of me, but I wear my hair up at work, and my head hurts. So that's why I'm trying to tolerate it. I trimmed the borders off these. On the back there was a white border that goes around it, and just, I don't know, I just didn't like it. I don't like that the name of the oracle is down there, but whatever. It's like, this is not, for me it's not a deal breaker. Think this is what they did. Oh look, there's a picture on the back. This is what the cards looked like before I trimmed mine. I'm almost thinking I want to get myself another copy and leave it untrimmed, like you leave it intact. So I don't know, maybe if I have an opportunity to trade for it or something, I will. But yeah, so I'm still working with this. I know you've seen this before. You've seen this card before. She's stalking me, people, so I better listen. The next deck I'm going to be working. Oh, so now I'm going to talk about the decks I'm going to be working with in August. I'm so excited. So I'll start with one I just got. I did in a previous video, it may have been just my last video, I talked about this guy. As part of my birthday treat, I got myself the spellcasting oracle cards after I saw Ali Lupamoon do her video on it. And the box looked like this. Like this was the cover of the box. I got rid of the box. I find the box just had the wrong energy for this deck. So I put it in this bag that I purchased from a Etsy store, Sparks Creations. It's a Peggy bag. I originally purchased this one for another oracle deck that I moved along. Then I put a tarot deck in here, and now I found I like it especially for this one. So anyway, look at the backs, people. I'm in love with this deck. The keywords are just, I think this deck is going to also become, this deck, once I get to know it well, is also, it is going to join my arsenal for readings for the public, because the images, the keywords, it's so well thought out. It's like someone decided, you know what, I'm just going to go back to basics, and they did an excellent job. And I love this cardstock. I just love it. It's not matte, it's not glossy, it riffle shuffles beautifully. Oh my god, here's the card that just makes me stop, and I get lost in her eyes because, oh my god, talk about depicting compassion. But anyway. So yeah, so this is definitely going to become, already I'm using it a lot. It really is going to join the arsenal of decks I use for the public. I haven't looked at the guidebook yet. I kept the guidebook. I recycled the box. And that's the first time I get rid of a box. Maybe it's a sign I'll be able to start getting rid of the stack of boxes that's on top of my bookshelf in my room that used to house oracle and especially tarot decks that are in bags in a basket because I use them all the time. All right. So I haven't looked at the book yet, but I kept the book because I didn't want to recycle the book because I don't know. I don't know. I didn't read it. I need to read it first and then decide if I'm keeping it or not. But the cards, this is the first card I pulled when I got this deck, and it was really on point. Because of, you know, the pandemic, work, like, you know, nature of my job and all this stuff. Just being like kind of in limbo, up in the air, not knowing what's going on. I don't know, just like a general malaise. I haven't really been taking care of myself. You know what I'm saying, right? It's like sometimes just like those little acts of self-care, you know, like, you know, if you like nail polish, you know, painting my nails, that kind of stuff. I don't even know how to describe it. Well-being, not always eating the best food, you know, like even though I follow a ketogenic way of eating, you can be, you know, you could eat, you know, you could have like crappy nutrition even on a ketogenic way of eating, right? Where you know, I'm not really taking in the nutrients that I need. What else? For well-being, bad habits. You know, maybe too many vodka quarantinis because, you know, life is stressful and we need to unwind. Yeah. So this card, I don't know, it just called me. It came up at the right time where it called me to say, hey, start taking care of yourself because that's enough now. You know, you haven't been taking care of yourself for 3-4 months. It's time to get that sorted out. So I'll have this card out for myself for the time being. That was a long time to talk about that, huh? Okay. What other decks will I be working with? Well, let's talk about tarot decks I will be working with in August. So, I'm definitely going to be working with my herbal tarot that I purchased last month, secondhand. I think it was last month that I purchased it from a friend, and I put packing tape on it because I freaking love this tuck box, and I love the colors on this tuck box. It's I love greens, pinks. See, like with this thing, it kind of has that same kind of hue. But yeah, so I ended up, in anticipation of receiving this deck again back in my life, I ended up ordering The Spirit of Herbs by Michael Tierra and illustrated by Candace Kenton. And this month I got myself this book as part of my birthday loot, and it's The Way of Herbs by Michael Tierra. Complete, easy to use information on simple herbal remedies for natural health and healing. Just want to get back into herbs. I am not a certified herbalist, master herbalist, or anything like that. I think I mentioned in a previous video that I do have like a very general education in herbalism as a course that was part of my natural health consultant course. But I'm not. I don't like my whole herbal knowledge is very specific to what I personally do for health and for magic. So I'm pretty excited to work with this deck this month and read these books, the guidebook and The Way of Herbs. Another deck I'm looking forward to using this month, and I think this one's going to be a favorite, is Tarot Fauna. Oh my god, people. The cardstock is beautiful. The backs are beautiful. The backs are also the inside of the box. Look at this image on the inside of the box. This is a beautiful, beautiful deck. It's still in order because I haven't used it yet. And so So I'm going to be using this deck this month. I think this will be my daily draw deck, and I'm really looking forward to it. I love, love, love animal decks. I have a lot of animal decks. I probably should count them. And I was really excited to score this one where it would ship to me reasonably, and I'm so happy. I got this from Wasima Ascension Waves. She has a store, Wasi Magic. Maybe not. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of her store. If I remember, I'll link to it below. But I got it from her, this and the Falarcos, and I'm being called to use the Tarot Fauna for my daily draws for August. The next deck is one that I was really, and the next and the last deck is one that I was really pining for many, many years, and I finally got my hot little hands on it, and I love the deck, and I plan to use it for meditation, and for meditation, and also the daily draws, but the kind of daily draws where it's self-care. This and Tarot Fauna is for predictive daily draws. It's basically what's happening today that I need to keep an eye out for. That kind of stuff, because that's the kind of reader I am. But this is this deck. I had been pining for it for years and years and years and years, and I finally was able to purchase one from a YouTube friend who's now a Facebook friend, and it's the Daughters of the Moon Tarot. I got the deck and the guidebook, and the guidebook's not for me. I read I read through the guidebook because it's not and it's not for me, but the cards are for me. And when I say it's not for me, it has a lot to do with, I think it's the Dianic Wicca, and it's just not my worldview. The tone is not my worldview. But the cards. Check out this presentation, people. So, my daughters and I went thrifting this month. This was like one of my favorite things this month, was being able to go to Value Village and Savers and Salvation Army. And at the Salvation Army, oh my God, the whole time they were closed for the pandemic, they spent their time rearranging the store, cleaning the store, setting it up beautifully to promote social distancing when you're shopping. It's brilliant what they did. They just redid the whole layout of the store, and there was this box on the counter, and I'm sad that the label's removed off the bottom for me to look up to see what it is, but this thing's really heavy. I'm guessing it's ebony wood, and I don't know what this painting is or what this is. If you're out there and you see this and you go, hey, I know what that is, please leave a message, leave a comment below. But it opens, and the inside, except for the little bit of water damage here, because this is it's velour, it's like a velvet, but it's glued on, except for a little bit of water damage there. Like, I cleaned the whole thing. I have this whole process when I bring stuff home from the thrift store. But this is where I thought, oh my gosh, this is perfect for my Daughters of the Moon deck to live. And so I cleaned it. I physically cleaned it, then I metaphysically cleansed it. It smells delicious. I think it's the wood that smells delicious, with coupled with the what I used to psychically cleanse it, which of course is a blend of Florida water and other things. But yeah, it's gorgeous. I love it. I'm in love with this box. and it's round and it's perfect for my Daughters of the Moon tarot, which I love these cards. And what I've decided to do, oh sorry, this is Carolyn. What I've decided to do is I'm going to work with these cards one at a time, like a daily draw, weekly draw, whenever I have time, right? And if there's someone represented on this card that I do not know, or even if I do, I will do my own research. So for Spider Woman, there's a blurb in the guidebook, but the guidebook just doesn't jive with me, or it's not my vibe. What I'm going to do is, when I pull this card, is actually do my own research and see how this energy applies to me. I love this deck. Now, I'm not certain, but I imagine that this deck has the similar issues as, say, the Mother Piece, through today's lens. Just like the Mother Piece, it's not perfect. Neither is the Mother Piece, but it's multicultural, and for me, that's really, really important, especially when it comes to cards. I prefer multicultural cards. I come from a multicultural place. It's like where I was born and where I grew up was multicultural. So for me, it's like if where I live is a multicultural, if the tools I use for reading, if my spiritual life is not multicultural, I don't know what to make of it, because to me, this multicultural is normal. Unicultural is not normal for me. So for me, it was like quite the culture shock when we moved to the town we live in, that it was so unicultural when we moved here, and it still is. Like, I'm the most ethnic person. I'm probably the most ethnic person on my block. Yeah. So these don't follow Rider-Waite-Smith at all. I think even with the numerology of the cards, it doesn't quite follow what ones, twos, threes, consistently. But it doesn't matter, because the images are so full. There's so much going on in the images that's what I want. That's what I read. Oh, nudity alert. Sorry, but look at this. Is just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So I will be working with my Daughters of the Moon deck in August, which happens to be the month of the goddess Diana. So even though Dianic Wicca is not my thing, interestingly, I was drawn to use this deck. All right, I think that's it. Oh my goodness, I think I talked. Oh, so I ordered the tarot online. That I was just having a hard time getting because it was sold out. And I received it yesterday, which was like, yesterday was my birthday, July 31st, and it was up. Oops. Sorry, I kicked a box or something under my desk. It was a really heavy day at work. It was just, it was a really long day too. So I come home and I was really happy to see that something arrived in the mail. I'm waiting for other stuff in the mail, but it's pandemic and it's summertime. It's taking a long time for stuff to arrive. So I was so excited when my Hoodoo tarot arrived in the mail, and a little less so that it was damaged. Thank you. So I had to order it from Amazon because it was sold out. In town, no one had it. because I did want to just go pick it up. Like, I didn't want to wait for Amazon to restock, because it was sold out on Amazon.ca for a while. Like, it was hard to get, it was hard to source. This is the publisher is Destiny Books out of Rochester, Vermont. I'm pretty sure this beat up box, this was Amazon's doing, because they just throw nice boxes like this in a bubble envelope and they throw it in the mail. The book is fine. The book is intact. I gotta tell you people that this deck, just the book is worth the price of the deck. This book is, I opened up this book and I couldn't put it down. And you know what? It doesn't look like, it's not a thick book. But the author's writing style is very, she says a lot with few words, which I really appreciate. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't, she's able to convey a lot of information without a ton of words, and I just, the book, like I said, the cost of the, you know, the cost of the deck, the book is worth just the cost of the deck. It's incredible. Also, at the back, there's suggested reading. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's, oops, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The cards disappoint me. So let's talk about packaging, because I don't know why publishers are still doing this to tarot cards. You see this? Metaphysical people, they don't like their freaking card deck separated in two pieces. Okay? None of us like this. I don't know a metaphysical person alive, a tarot reader alive, a card reader alive will say this is a good idea. We all hate this. Stop doing this, please. Okay? And another thing, and this was bad enough, but literally half the deck appears to come from one cutting and the other half from another, because look, they don't even, they're bowed, so they don't, you can't, you know. So you see what I'm saying? Look at it. Like, these are, you could tell they're two separate decks. Once I riffle shuffle them, hopefully they become more homogeneous. But this is bad, people, because this is a $45 tarot deck. All right? This is really bad. So Destiny Books in Rochester, Vermont. This is really bad. Also, I was going to save it to show it to you, but it irritated me so bad that I spent last night rounding all the corners. Half the deck was rounded large rounded corners. The other half was small. So I re-rounded all the corners. Look at this. Like, this side, this half of the deck right here is taller than this half of the deck. And look at the corners, because I had to round the corners. But look at this. This is literally two separate printings, cuttings, whatever you want to call it, decks. It's terrible, 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 terrible. And whoever works, if you have someone working quality control, this is terrible, absolutely terrible. The only reason I'm not returning it is because the creator, Tayana Lee McQuiller, it's not her fault. All right, this is why I'm not returning it, because it's not the creator's fault that you produced this horrendous packaging and these poorly cut cards. Terrible, absolutely terrible. There, there's my rant. Come on. If other publishers could put out quality cards. Hay House is putting out, okay, they had the problem with the Lightseers, never mind Hay House. But you know what I mean? It's, come on. And the cardstock is not bad, but it could have been better. It could have been better, and I find that really disappointing. So going back to it, normally I would have looked at this and said, this is shit. I would have looked at this deck and said, this is like really shit. It's really shit that I had to cut. Like, what if I didn't have a corner rounder? Come on. I had to round the corners on this deck because it was irritating me that two halves of the deck didn't even have the same corner rounding. The only reason I'm not sending it back, it's because I want this creator to get their royalties for the product for their work that I purchased. But I'm gonna think twice next time if I see Destiny Books as the publisher on something. I'm gonna think twice because this was so disappointing. And did I mention it's $45 Canadian? Wow. Anyway, that's it for me. Other people have done flip throughs of this deck. Here are the backs. I'm just not feeling it today because I'm not happy with the poor quality of the cards. But anyway, the book, I fell into the book last evening and I just had to tear myself away. And the box, well, I won't be using the box to store my cards, so I'm going to just recycle it. And see this? I hate this. Nobody likes this. How many times do I have to say it in my video? But oh my god, I am like really, really choked about this. Anyway. Those were my monthly favorites and not so favorites of the month of July. And if you have any comments to share, did you get this deck? Did you have a problem with this? Did your cards come as being like two separate chunks? Did your cards come with smaller corners on half than the other half? Oh, and some of them even like, I even had to re-round the corners of the ones that were large because some of like the third corner or something like that wasn't cut the same. It's bad. Okay. I think you all know how I feel. All right. Leave a comment below if you got the Hoodoo Tarot and you weren't happy with the card quality. The busted up box, that's Amazon's fault, but I couldn't get it anywhere else. And I'm hoping that it's the deck being sold out and not distribution issues for this deck, because I did look through the cards and this is a beautiful work. I said a bad word. It's a beautiful work. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I'm wishing you all a beautiful day.